Hey guys, this is part 4 in which we're gonna create the front side that you can see here. So please like this video and subscribe if you're new, and let's do this. Alright, in this part 4, we're gonna focus on the front side, which is a very important piece if we want to deliver the results we want. So we're gonna focus a little bit on what we want here, which is creating this beautiful front sight. And as a start, this plan that you can see here is gonna be very suitable. So we're gonna start modifying or repositioning some of these vertices, and of course we're gonna add some edges right here using, of course, the ring and connect tools that we are using a lot in these videos, and these are actually no-brainers. So we're gonna extrude these edges over here. Of course, we need it to be close in order to measure what we are doing here in a right way. So we're gonna select these vertices and edges, and of course we're gonna try to push them, but before we are trying to create enough segments right there in order to make bending this mesh properly. So we're gonna select the vertices that are gonna move, and we're gonna push them to create kind of a U shape, which is gonna define the most of the front side. Of course, we want in the actual piece that is going to be attached to the front side, we want it to have similar edges and vertices, and the mesh we needed to support the piece that we are going to create. So we're going to use this as a tool to build towards creating the front side. And actually, this is a very good idea, of course, because creating something half cylindrical manually is going to be tough. So we're going to use this as a quick way to do this. Of course, you need to detach this piece as a clone, and of course then we're going to attach it to the plane that we have with that represents the front side. And we're gonna weld some of these vertices, obviously. So here we're gonna cut this in half because we're gonna apply the asymmetry modifier, which is gonna be extremely important because we don't have to do the work twice, and this is pretty obvious. Of course, we are gonna create this edge right here because we want the these polys here that we're gonna inset, we want them to be limited in a certain way. So we're gonna push these vertices up a little bit and these down a little bit because we want the polys that we're gonna inset to form a rectangle, most likely because we want the circle to be circular. And using the scale tool is a very good way to do this. Sometimes I use this technique to make sure that everything is perfectly in place, which is creating a cylinder on top of the mesh that we are working on. And of course, we're gonna bring the height to 0 because we want it to be super flat. We want it to have literally no height. And we're gonna reduce the number of vertices or size to 8 in order to snap these vertices using the S from the keyboard. So you need to snap these vertices in place, and yeah, and here we go. This was quick and clear and clean. So we need now to hide this cylinder here because we no longer need it. And of course, applying the symmetry modifier is going to be a must thing to do after that. And as you can see here, this lacks as thickness, so yeah, we will see what we can do about it, because there is a possibility of using the shell modifier. So convert to hyperbole and use the shell modifier, and you need to be a little bit careful because this piece here is a little bit thickness sensitive, because it's important to get it right here. And another factor is gonna play in here, because we want to attach the other piece to the front side, because they are actually one piece. So you're gonna borrow some polys right there using the detach as element option, and yeah, we're gonna do some processes that may seem difficult for beginners, but they are actually very important and easy to do if you are in a position to understand what we are doing here. So we're trying to center this in the center. Of course, we are left with what we have done before, which is to create some additional edges in order to make sure that the welding process is gonna be right. And of course, to attach these things together, we need some thickness, because 3ds Max cannot attach 3 different planes that are going in different direction. It's just not possible. As you can see here, I'm trying to make it happen, but it does not obey any of this. So we're gonna have to remove one of these, and adding thickness is actually going to solve this. Alright, adding the shell modifier is gonna give us an idea about what we are trying to do here. This may seem like we are wasting time, but it is important. And there are actually easier ways even to do this, but it's okay to have some difficult time, because this is going to allow us to become better at doing easier tasks. Now we need just to create another edge in the front side, the piece that originally created, and we're gonna attach some of these polygons that are facing each other using the bridge process. And of course, this is not gonna be difficult, but to figure this out for the first time is a challenge for a lot of people. And this is actually what we do here. We try to solve problems artistically. Okay, after adding the bridge, after bridging these polygons, we need to actually we need to smooth things out a little bit. And of course, welding using the target weld is is a good option to reduce the number of polygons and vertices, or the poly count in short. Now we need to reapply the symmetry modifier once again. All right, we are making some progress right here, and this is very important. And of course, we need to make sure that the piece that we are creating here is in alignment with the rest of the pieces. Alright, basically the edges that we are adding here can be considered supporting edges, since they are extremely close to the edge. And yeah, now we are trying to create the site itself. So there is gonna be this height right here, and it should be this surface should be flat, because we're gonna create another piece on top of it, which is a simple box like this. And make sure that you are activating the auto grid to allow yourself to create this box on top of the mesh we have. And yeah, this is gonna be extremely easy to do. So we're gonna scale things in a little bit. As you can see, we accidentally select that vertex that we don't really need to select. Okay, extrude once again, and of course we will make this a little bit narrower as we go up. And we're gonna smooth it a little bit, because we don't want it to be like this straight. And adding some edges right here is gonna do it. Alright, this is the end of part 4, and I hope you learned something here building the front sight, and I will see you in the next part.